Hey guys, it's SSF here. You're probably wondering, for one thing, why is Team Sonic's theme from Sonic Heroes playing? Another thing you're probably wondering is, why in the hell is there a giant sign that has the word bum on it in red letters? Well, the latter is a long story, so I'm not going to get into that. That's not why I'm here, is to give long stories about bum. No. What I'm here about is to talk about the former. Why am I playing, we'll get to that later. Hey, it's a Sonic Hero soundtrack. Fuck it. But yeah, it's... Actually, why I'm here is, well, I'm sure you guys have seen the SONICNEWS show by now, especially on my channel. You know, you've seen all the videos, all the episodes. I hope to God you've seen all the episodes. I know some of them have been ridiculously long, and I apologize for that, but you know how it happens with the whole 10 topics thing, and how shows can drag on a little bit longer than normal. Anyway. Yeah, that show is actually part of a 3-show lineup that happens every Sunday, and it's called the Sunday Night Sonic. I emphasize the word Sonic, not bum, because that's truly what the word is. It's not bum, it's actually Sonic, The Sunday Night Sonic lineup. Technically called, I'm gonna get this right. Bear with me at 6 in the morning on my end. It's Sunday Night Sonic Live, comprised of 3 shows of your favorite sites in the Sonic community, representing Brofist. 3 sites, 3 shows, and they're one right after the other on one day. You might have heard of Sega Sonic Radio. You might have seen Sega Sonic Radio. You might have seen all the things they do. They've had Turbo Drive Live. One that happens to be in the Sunday Night Sonic live lineup just happens to be a show that used to be on SSR. Various other, shows, Blitz and Pieces, the awkward realm of the realm of awkward banner. There's all sorts of shows out there that are on SSR. But these 3 shows in the lineup, you can't find them on SSR. Let me explain. For one thing, I should warn you, the song you've been hearing, I'm gonna keep putting on this on repeat because I'm just that much of a dick. But then again, you might like the song, you might not. Who the hell cares? It's the Sonic Heroes soundtrack, right? What matters is hearing me talking. I'm your distraction. But I'm also making a challenge to hear me out, because that song's so damn good, in my opinion. But anyway, I'm getting off topic again. It's amazing. Yeah. Never mind. The Sunday Night Sonic live lineup takes place every Sunday night. Sometimes it can vary exactly which shows are on for that particular week, depending on what's going on in each of the lives of the three broadcasters that are doing the show. Like, for example, Discoponies had JAK Discoponies had his honeymoon just recently, and he wasn't doing his show for a few weeks, about a month. So it was mostly comprised of me and AAUK doing shows for a while. And then at one point, AAUK didn't do a show because he was busy with other stuff, with his life. So he wasn't able to do REDUX for a week. And then there was also me at one point. I took a hiatus from the SONICNEWS show for a couple of weeks because of E3 coverage. So we all do, not the whole lineup is not going to apply to every single solitary week, but you can expect for the most part, if there's any changes, if say anyone is not able to show up or do their show, keep an eye out on their respective Twitters. Discoponies, Kevin Eva, aka AAUK, or Archangel UK, or me, SSF921. Just go to any of our Twitter accounts, like I said, you can go to the official Sonic Rex Twitter account. The name's pretty obvious. You can go to Discoponies' Twitter account, also obvious, and SSN931 on Twitter. Every one of us has a Twitter. So if any of us are not going to be there, able to do our show for whatever reason, you will find out there first. I always, as well, I'm also every morning, at least in my time, because like I said, I'm 5 hours behind the UK, so I'll explain about the times in a bit, but yes, I'm going to get to the, bear with me, I'm going to get to the stuff you want to hear, but yes, if you want to hear anything new about the Sunday Night Sonic lineup, in regards to who's doing shows, what shows, more about, when the shows are going to be happening, I am completely out of it. In regards to if anyone's going to be doing their shows, and if so, little hints at what they might have. Generally, as I said, usually before the lineup begins, what I always do is I go into twitter.com, I do tweets. I give a few tweets, usually about the lineup happening later on at each respective show. But one thing I also like doing is I like giving a tweet about who's going to be live. Like, literally, whether the whole lineup is going to be live, or one show or two shows, and which ones. I will mention exactly how much of the lineup will be live for that respective Sunday. And if you do need to, like I said, if you need a little bit more information on why that specific show may not be on, go to their respective, that person's respective Twitter account, because generally they always explain why they're not there on their Twitter. So, needless to say, it's very important that Twitter is your friend in this case. Now, here's where I actually get to the lineup and what each one contains. Note, I'm actually going to give you briefings on each show, who hosts it, what it's about, where to get to it, how to listen to it, all this. Everything you need to know about each show, I'm going to explain, because I'm that generous. In the midst of me shoving this song down your throat, I'm very generous. I will explain why I'm playing this in a second, though. In the meantime, why don't we get to the lineup? So, as I said, there's 3 shows. Each show, as you can see, barring mine, the time, this display time you see down here for my show is not actually accurate. This hasn't been updated just yet, so I'll probably get a update video, a second one, with the updated time on this. So, but that's actually supposed to say 11 p.m. So 11 p.m. and this is UK time. These are the UK times. All right. Now, the Sunday Night Sonic live lineup always starts at 2 p.m. Eastern. That's in the East Coast, which is 7 p.m. in UK. So for me, it's 2 p.m. For you guys in the UK, it's 7 p.m. For the people in the Midwest of the United States, it's 1 p.m. It's 12 p.m. in Mountain Time in the Rocky Mountains of the United States, and on the West Coast of the United States, it's 11 a.m. So those are some of the times for what the show is. It's Radio Redux. Radio Redux. This is probably one of the, out of all the shows, I think, that are going on, I think you should know Radio Redux the most. I mean, come on, guys. It's Radio Redux. It's been around for 7 years. Around that. I don't even recall that. At this moment, I don't recall the exact amount, but it's in Season 7 as I speak, so it's been going for a good long while. And as I said, it is hosted by Kevin Neva, aka AAUK, aka Archangel UK. You should know him, guys. How? He runs this site. Does this site not look familiar to you guys? Does this site not look familiar to you guys? It's Sonic Rex. This is where you can hear, or at least the host site, of Radio Redux. However, I should make a note about this. You can hear past episodes on here, but if you want to hear the show live, you go here. What is this? This is Radio Sega. This is where Radio Redux is broadcasted live. And I emphasize the word live because, as I said, they are always broadcasted. Although there are past episodes you can find on Sonic Rex, you have to find, if you want to look at an episode live, you have to go to radiosega.net. So radiosega.net/index.php is the display address for me, but I don't think you need the index.php there. Just go radiosega.net, you know. But yes, radiosega.net is your site and the home for Radio Redux. Originally, as I said, Sega Sonic Radio was the home of Radio Redux before Radio Redux moved. Actually, it was both Radio Sega and, SSR that Radio Redux was on at one point. It was the only show on SSR that was being broadcasted on Radio Redux, Radio Sega as well. And I believe it was the only Radio Redux show that. Why do I keep saying like Radio Redux isn't? Radio Redux could be a network. It's the only show on Radio Sega that was on SSR as well. So it's vice, it's a whole vice versa thing. I'm confusing you. You might as well fuck. I'm sorry. But yes, Radio Redux used to air on SSR and Radio Sega. Now it's only on Radio Sega. It's an exclusive Radio Sega show, hosted by AAUK. Used to be on the Summer Sonic staff. Used to be on Sega of Europe. You can expect an hour of the show. It goes for an hour, sometimes 2 hours. If it turns out that its successor in the lineup actually streams or not, it can vary, but in some cases might even start a few minutes early, depending. It really just depends on the circumstances and at the time of hand. But you can always expect at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. UK time, 7 p.m. UK time, because I know there are going to be UK people watching this. It's Radio Redux. As I said, it's hosted by AAUK of Sonic Rex. Sometimes there might be, co-hosts, and in some cases you might see there's some co-hosts joining them. But for the most part, it's usually AAUK that's hosting, especially as of this season. It's been mostly AAUK so far, but needless to say, every week, generally, Kevin goes over the latest Sonic news, gets your music requests if you have any, and then there's also the Q&A AAUK segment at the end of each, usually around halfway to the twilight minutes, that's the new phrase, the twilight minutes of the show. And generally what happens is, it's what the name suggests, it's just Kevin answering your questions. AAUK is answering your questions. It's a very, very popular and active segment. Hundreds and hundreds of people go to that segment every day. They're so curious on what he has to say about certain aspects of life, like Sonic and chili dogs and Sonic. But it's a very popular segment. I mean, it's like people literally butt in line and cut in line and do all sorts of shit just to get their question in for Kevin. It's a really, really, really active segment, and I love it. Nevertheless, it is among, many things you can look forward to. And of course, you can also expect that witty humor that comes with the AAUK as well. And among other things, like I said, music requests. It's a very fun, social show, And it's great to listen to. There's a chat room. How do you get to the show? That's the next thing. You know what the show's about. You know who's hosting it. You know how popular AAUK's question segment is. Q&A AAUK is. How do you get to the show? Well, Generally, you can go to radiosega.net and find out more, but because I'm such a nice guy, and I know by now you're probably pulling your hair out because of that song being played for like the 4th time now in the course of this video, hey guys, guess what? I'll show you how to get to it anyway. So, listen to Radio Sega. Pretty easy. I don't know, you can't see my mouse, but that doesn't matter because, you know, now it doesn't matter now what happens, but to tune in to Radio Sega, you can listen via Winamp. Coincidentally, what I'm actually playing the song on. This is Winamp. Now, this is generally what I use to listen to. Winamp's free to get. It's not that hard. As you can see, I'm going to scroll up a bit. Oh look, what do we have here? There's Radio Sega. Well, as Saturday Night Sega listed, but we all know how wonderful AAUK is in hosting Saturday Night Sega as well. I mean, yeah. But yeah, if you do need the info, this is it. You need a 91.121.89.50 colon 8008. That's the IP to get into to listen to it through Winamp. Note that it's not an actual it is not my IP or anything. It's the Radio Sega, I think it's the AAC, to be exact, the AAC stream. Either that was the MP3, I can't remember, but it's a new stream they have at Radio Sega. It's a lot more, like, there's not any delay, as bad of a delay, but nevertheless, that's the way to get into the stream to listen. Now, how about getting into the chat room, which I will warn you right now, people do get into. You know, people do chat in that. So how do you get to it? Let me explain. You go to this site. What is this site? It's called Mibit. Mibit! No. That's a Looney Tunes reference for those of you who didn't get it and are too young. This is actually, excuse me, the site I use to look at the chat for Radio Sega when there's ever a live show going on there that I want to listen to. In this case, generally, you can sign up for an account on there. Now, I should note I already have an account, so I'm not going to actually log in. But if you do, to get the information, you do need your nickname. Of course, you can guess what nickname I had. Make sure you on this. This is, by the way, the link name is cbe001.chat.mibbit.com. Mibbit is M-I-B-B-I-T. M-I-B-B-I-T. For those of you who really can't understand what I'm saying because I'm chatting too fast. But, yeah. If you want to get in here, click on server on this little thing. And then put in surrealchat.net, I believe is the actual server name. The channel name is #Radio Sega. At least that's what I believe it is. And then the nickname, you know, you can put in anything you want. But for convenience, I'm going to go ahead and log into my Mibbit account so you don't have to put that in over and over again. And there we are. Okay, that was Surreal Chat. And here you guys go. Here's the Radio Sega chat room, live on Mibbit. Say hi, guys. Oh, you're not on. Who cares? No, I'm kidding. They're really not online right now. Like I said, it's really early in the morning as I'm, recording this. So, but yes, that is that's Radio Sega. That's Radio Redux. That's where you go to do anything you need to do, really. Like I said, like you need to see Sonic Rex again. Odds are you probably have it bookmarked already, but yes, here is the Sonic Rex site. To see past episodes of Radio Redux. To find past episodes, just look at the left side, guys. It's right here. Click on it. Latest Radio Redux shows. Or it could just take me back to the home page. That's fine too. I mean, I'm alright with this. I'm perfectly fine with this. I'm really happy. Now, you can also go at the very top and just click on the Radio Redux section tab, and then here you are. And you can find the main page, and you can see all the past episodes that they have. Okay, so season 1 was in 2006, so that was close. 2006. There you go. As you can see, it's pretty packed. You know, with seasons and shows, and even like sub shows. Just looking at this because of the walls. I don't know why I'm looking at it, but I really should check that out more. Why I haven't done that, I don't know. But yes, in case you didn't know, I really do look around on the Sonic Rex site daily, so for news and other stuff and looking at the latest information, so I generally know my way around the site very well, you know. Project XO and the logo displayed in all its glory. But anyway, I'm getting really off topic here. But yes, there you guys go. That's Radio Redux. You know, it's, as I said, it goes for usually on average an hour. At 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. UK time. As I said, you generally have a show on weekly. You know, I think out of all the shows that are on, that's probably one of the shows you can expect to be on almost weekly. I think about 99% of the time, maybe 99% of the time, Radio Redux is on, you know, each week. There's only these few exceptions, you know, that are out of AAUK's control, but nevertheless, after Radio Sega finishes its live broadcasting of, you know, Kevin and Radio Sega finish broadcasting, presenting the show that is Radio Redux, we have a certain other site. Now this one has probably gone on, their live streams have gone on for about a year or two, somewhere around there. I can't exactly recall when he started doing a Sonic show stream, but I know they've been going for at least a year or so. Nevertheless, the Sonic Show, yes. You know, that show hosted by Discoponies that contains Kevin's face monthly. Yeah, they also do live streams too, by the way. And generally there are playthroughs of the Sonic games. You know, sometimes there can be some random antics afterwards, but generally Jamie Eggman, aka Discoponies, yeah. It's Sonic Show. I mean, what else do you need to know? Bar none, this is probably the show you should. This is probably the one you should be the most aware of out of all three shows. I think Radio Redux comes in line just barely over the Sonic Show, since Radio Redux has been on for a lot longer than the Sonic Show's live streams, and I emphasize on the part where it's live streams because guess what, guys? I do believe the Sonic Show, although it has been around as long as Radio Redux has itself, the podcast series itself, the live streams, I do believe, are a lot shorter. Now, as for what time it is, it always takes place an hour after Radio Redux starts. So when Radio Redux ends, the Sonic Show Live begins. And how do you get to that? Well, I'll explain, but 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UK time. Remember, you go to ss.stadium, Sonic, SSF, damn, I almost said SSF. Yeah, I own Sonic Stadium apparently. ss.sonicstadium.org. I almost said com. ss.sonicstadium.org. I'm gonna have a drink after I finish this. ss.sonicstadium.org is the site you go to for the homepage of the Sonic Show. You can also find it on the home tab at the top of the Sonic Stadium site page, homepage, you know, or any page, you know what I mean. It's a tab right on the, fuck it, you know what I mean. But either way, ss.sonicstadium.org is where you go to for the Sonic Show's site. And of course, it's pretty obvious. You go right here, the Sonic Show Live. That's one route you can find. I should note this, unlike Radio Redux, you don't really need to, you don't have to download anything per se unless you don't have Adobe Flash player that will play the stream. And Knuckles is creeping me out with that. But yes, here you guys go. That's the link to the stream right there. Now, if you really want to be specific on what you go to, and you just want to go to the stream itself, which are kind of sucky because you're not giving any hits to the Sonic Show site itself, so screw you. Nah. Any viewers are good, but either way, there's twitch.tv/the Sonic Show. This is the link to see the stream itself, you know, if you want a direct link to that to the stream. Now again, I should note, this doesn't really give any hits to the Sonic Show's site itself, so bear that in mind. You know, just saying. As I said, the Sonic Show Live generally composes of me, you know, commenting, Discoponies playing games. Let me rephrase that. Generally, the Sonic Show Live composes of Jay, aka Discoponies, Mr. Sonic Show himself, in a Skype call with various other people, including every now and then Turbo from SSR, and although he's currently been on Radio Sega with Turbo Drive Live as current. You've had Turbo there. Even AAUK joins in for some antics as well. You got me that joins there. That's pretty much when I start. You know, my involvement in the lineup really starts to, you know, take notice. You know, you'll notice me in the chat room very often during Radio Redux, but you'll see me even more. My presence starts to pick up more during the Sonic Show Live because I'm also going to be in the stream itself. I'm going to be in the Skype call, so you know you can expect lots of hilarity there. And generally, what happens is Discoponies plays games, mainly Sonic games. Usually, exceptions are rare, but generally it's Sonic games. You know, and we all comment about it and laugh about it. We have loads of fun. Sometimes there's even co-ops. You know, I did a co-op once. That didn't... Yeah, that went out very well. Like, I was such a pro at the game. Like, I literally beat the entire game without losing a life. Whereas, you know, Jay kept on dying like mad. You know, I totally did not expect to be so good at the game. You know, Sonic 4 Episode 2 is this game where it's survival to the fittest, so, you know, yeah. But, yes, if you need, by the way, if you need any links, go into the video description, and they should be in there. So, if me talking doesn't help out matters, the links will also be in the chat, you know, or in the chat, listen to me. I'm thinking I'm actually streaming the Sonic News Show or something, but no. They'll actually be in the video description, so go down below to the video description, and all the links I've listed should be in there. But nevertheless, that is Sonic Show Live. That goes on for a few hours, you know, up until 6 p.m. If it turns out that the game streaming itself is finished for the week, but Jay still has plenty of time to stream, generally he'll just show random shit, you know, like videos or, you know, pictures or upcoming stuff from the Sonic Show that he might be broadcasting in the future. So, not only is it a very beneficial stream for laughs, but it's also a very beneficial stream to finding out the latest Sonic Show news and happenings, and even some previews on what's to come. Just note that if you see AAUK's head anywhere in any pictures, any shape or form, any videos, I had nothing to do with it. You know. But yes, that's the Sonic Show Live. Takes place 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UK. I almost forgot the time there. As I said, it goes for a few hours. Then at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 p.m. UK time, you should know what show's going to be mentioned next. You've seen past episodes show up on my YouTube channel every week, people. It's the Sonic Show, and Sonic News Show. Yes, I completely fucked up the name of my own show. Fuck me. Yes, the Sonic News Show, 6 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. UK. As you guys know, 10 topics. You know, you guys should know what the show's all about by now if you guys have seen, you know, everything. But yeah, 10 topics to talk about each show. Goals to get through all of them. Until then, we can get as off topic as we want. You know, how off topic will decide the fate of the length of the show. Nevertheless, it's also it's very, very, very social. The entire show is comprised of talking and talking and talking, but funny talking. Yeah, funny talking. And when you expect talking like this, you know it's gonna be a good show. Me stumbling and fucking up so many damn times. Why you not listen to my show? No. It's a really fun show to do, and I hope you guys tune in for it. You know, sometimes it'll go for about an hour, sometimes it'll even go for 3 hours. It kind of varies, but I can tell you this much. It's a very, very interactive show, and I always make it like, I think it's more laid back show than the previous two in the lineup. You know, whereas Radio Redux is full of humor and kicks things off on a great note. On the other hand, the Sonic Show Live is full of humor and, you know, creativity, I think, and, you know, in my case last week, full of tension in the moment in the game I was playing with Discoponies. You know, it's a really, and pay no mind to this screenshot you're seeing in the Sonic Paradox stream right now. I had nothing to do with that. No, it does not look like there's a Robotnik inside of Robotnik's crotch. Please don't. No, don't. No, you know, I regret even saying that now. I'm gonna move on. To listen to the SONICNEWS show live, you can go to livestream.com/Sonic Paradox. That link should be embedded in your skull by now, because I've linked to it so many times on Twitter, and so many times on Facebook, and so many times on YouTube, I believe. It really should be embedded in your mind. But if if it hasn't been embedded yet, or if it hasn't embedded enough, you've just been informed of it yet again. So there you go, more of the embedding. But yes, livestream.com/Sonic Paradox. Again, I highly suggest making sure you have Adobe Flash Player to get That's really the main thing you're going to need when regards to the lineup, because like I said, 2/3 of the lineup is composed of live streams like Jay's, and of course, like I said, there's mine. So Adobe Flash Player is critical, so that way you can actually see what the stream's showing and what is being heard. So, you know, I highly suggest. That's my mouse highlighting it, by the way. If you see something highlighting like this, that's my mouse going over it. You just can't see the mouse because I'm that awesome. I have the power to hide mice. You know, fuck me. Yes. livestream.com/Sonic Paradox. That's the link. However, I'm going to give you guys another hint. Here's an exclusive route of listening to the show. I rarely do mention this because it takes a little bit more explaining, but there is another route to listening to the stream and going to it. Here's how you do it. Here's the Sonic Paradox main page. Looks innocent, doesn't it? I mean, you got your links here to some of the projects we've done and various other things. But do you notice this little tab right up here that I'm highlighting, where it says stream? Yeah, there's a new route. That's the stream. See? That is actually another link to. That's another way you can see the stream. Of course, I can't guarantee you're gonna see ads, but here we are. There you go. Damn it. F you ads. But yeah, that's the Sonic Paradox stream through Sonic Paradox's page. Yes. There you guys go. There's your link. That is an alternative method to watching the stream if you guys really needed to have one. Like, now you know the stream is actually embedded, and I've been saying embedded so many times in this video. As you can see, there's another way of getting to the stream of that is Sonic Paradox's. Right here on the site. The Sonic Paradox site also has a stream in it. So, you know, nevertheless, if you guys don't have, and even if I'm not live, sometimes you'll see gaming streams and various other streams from the other guys at Sonic Paradox. You know, you never know. Even Wax himself actually does some streams every now and then. But yes, there you go. That's all 3 shows. That makes up the Sunday Night Sonic Live lineup. Radio Redux with Kevin Eva, aka AAUK, aka Archangel UK, 7 p.m. UK time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. The Sonic Show Live, 8 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Then the Sonic News Show, hosted by yours truly, 11 p.m. UK time, 6 p.m. Eastern time. There's all your shows. Now let me explain why I'm playing this song. Think about it. It's the lineup for Sonic Heroes. It's like there's 3 of us. Team Sonic's theme is kind of fitting in this way. And let me continue to explain. There's 3 shows. Team Sonic's composed of 3 players, characters. Fuck it, you know what I mean. They're composed of 3 animals. What do you have here? Connect the dots. 3 shows in comparison to 3 characters in Team Sonic. Yeah, you can see where it's going. It's like Kevin's in the lead, giving us great of speed. Discoponies is riding high to stay out of trouble. I don't know why we would trust how he's able to fly. Then again, he does have the experience of flying to the United States as of recent. And then me, I'm by their side. So our ride is safer. It's a safer ride. You can see where I'm going with this, right? No? Okay. Yeah. Essentially, this is essentially as if Team Sonic were comprised of Kevin, Jay, and me. I'm trying to find. You know where I'm going with this. I hope to God you know where I'm going with this. But yes, Team Sonic, Team Sunday Night Sonic. Fuck my analogy. Let's move on. Yes, that is the Sunday Night Sonic lineup. That's everything you needed to know. Like I said, if you need to get the links again, you could either listen to that part again where I mentioned that link. You know, that one part. Remember that one part and that one? Never mind. There's also going to be links, as I said, in the video description. So if you're watching this elsewhere where the video description can't be seen, you might want to look at my video page. So give me the views. Give me those views, and I'll be a happy camper. But yes, views. Go into the video description. You'll find every link that I have shown in this little recording. I cannot believe it took me 40 minutes to explain 3 freaking shows. But, what can I say? That's how much I'm passionate about. It really is. I look forward to Sunday every freaking week just because of the fact that these 3 shows are on. It's so epic. It really is. You can't find this lineup anywhere else. And the best part is, we're all independent. We all support each other in this. You know, we all stick together in this. You know, there's no definitive site that hosts all of our shows. We all all have hubs for our shows separately. So, yeah, with that in mind, I will see you Sundays, you know, for this whole lineup. Thanks for watching, guys. This is SSF signing out. Take care, guys. Have a great whatever time it is there as you're watching this. Good night. Good morning. Whatever. Fuck you guys. Take care.